In today's geekly VTuber news, etc., we got an announcement from VStream, the VTuber exclusive streaming platform that was started, I don't know, maybe 5-6 months ago. I can look up the exact time later, but it announced its closure. It was not able to secure any more funding, and basically it did not blow up, and so they are closing their doors, which is unfortunate, but also, I would say, predicted by most people in the community. And it's one of those things that I think we've touched on several times in the past and will continue to touch on, is one of the challenges of platforms like social media or video hosting platforms is they're very much winner takes all, and it takes so much money to compete with the big dogs in the race, and you can't just start a small hosting company that relies on creators, because the creators rely on an audience, and an audience is not going to accept something that is small in scale and small in, like, lacking in features. So platforms like video hosting or social media have to cater both to creators and consumers, and those groups are often at odds with each other. And so it sort of is just a non-stop death spiral that is very, very, very difficult to break out of. And in the case of something like VStream, it's sort of handicapped itself by its very nature, because it was exclusively meant for VTubers. And obviously, I'm a VTuber, but I know that most people that aren't VTubers, as in aren't content creators, people like you guys in the audience, are not gonna go to some platform that they've never heard of just for VTuber content. They're gonna go to a platform that has VTuber content and other content. And so I think this sort of broaches into a broader spectrum where there's a lot of products or groups that try and get started for specific sub niches, but you have to understand that if that sub niche is not the consumer of your platform and instead are a creator on your platform, then it's just not going to work out. And so platforms like VGen work. VGen, if anybody's not familiar, is a site that specializes in commission services for VTubers. So it's something that I use to get connections for art and GIFs and backgrounds. That's where my background came from. That's where this desk asset came from. That's where my starting screen came from. They all came through VGen. And that works to have a smaller audience because the VTubers are the people purchasing, right? We're the ones spending money there, and so we want a platform that is easier to navigate for just us. Viewers don't have to care about where I get my art from. I have to find a place to find art, and that works, but like, no audience is going to be so hyper specific that they're going to do that. And so it was just really a model mismatch from the beginning with a site like VStream. And it's unfortunate because I would love to see somebody topple, you know, Twitch and YouTube, especially somebody that's not Kick. This whole VStream thing really also brings out a lot of feelings that I have about what I would call, quote, VTuber Twitter, which is, and really any fandom Twitter or any fandom forum, which is that I think that a lot of people get trapped up in a very small niche on a platform, and they center all of their efforts trying to appeal to that subset. But like, VTuber Twitter is not the Twitter of people who watch VTubers. It is the Twitter of VTubers, like VTuber creators like myself. And that is not good advertising, because all of us are busy doing VTubers, like VTubing stuff. We don't have time to watch each other's content at often enough rate to make sense. And it's really easy to get trapped into spending a lot of time and effort there, where really the only thing that it's actually useful for is if you happen to make something that pops off so hard that everyone boosts it so that it escapes the orbit of VTwitter and reaches, quote, regular Twitter, and then it can pop off, right? And so that's why you get those things like big debuts or big projects that do pop off. They do get that boost from sort of VTwitter, but most of the time spent on VTwitter is not productive as a creator at all. And it's for the exact same reason that VStream didn't work out. It's that the people using it are not the people that consume it. It's the people that want to create, and you need to reach outside that audience for that model to make sense. And yeah, I don't know, it's a difficult problem to solve, and that is why so many people that give advice to establish a platform on YouTube or on TikTok, God rest its soul, preemptively. But, you know, because you can make just a banger video and the YouTube algorithm will push that out to people that are interested in it, not just people who are VTubers. Like anybody who's interested in, for example, the Niji Sanji drama that I made a video about that like totally popped off. It's because people are interested in that, and then that funnels them. But having sort of hyper-specific small groups just doesn't work economically. It doesn't work from a marketing perspective, and it's really easy to waste a lot of time doing that. And I don't know, it's a mistake we keep seeing repeated all the time, and it's a little bit unfortunate. But that's just part of the journey, I guess, of, you know, becoming a content creator and knowing where to use your resources the best to get the best outcome. So I think it's very much the same effect that you note when you see like gaming subreddits, or really any subreddit, right? Like a subreddit will get so lost in its own sauce that they just think that everyone thinks the things that the community has, the quote unquote community has sort of collectively hive-minded. And you look at it and you're like, okay, sure, like maybe there's 80,000 people on this subreddit, but there's 8 million people that play this game, you know? So you are less than 1% of the population, and it's very easy to like hive mind yourself, but that is not what the population at large thinks, believes, desires, you know, whatever. And so I think that that's just a general danger that we're running into constantly with internet echo chambers, and, you know, it's a difficult space to navigate. So